Hey everybody, how are you? I hope you're having a wonderful day. So, what I want to do today is I want to do a garden tour. Now, if I'm being honest, and I will be honest, this was supposed to be the first video that you saw. It was supposed to be like an introduction, a welcome to the garden. However, in the editing process, which I really have to learn how to do, I'm not sure what I did, but half of the original video is gone. It's just gone. I can't get it back. I don't know what I did. And I can't even find it on my phone. It's just, and it needed some editing. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start over, and this might be the second or third video that you see, but it'll still be the welcome to my garden. All right? So there are a couple caveats. The first caveat is that today you're going to see the garden as is. We have just started planting, so we haven't even gotten a quarter of the garden done. We garden in outside New York City in Zone 7B. So most people around here don't start planting, don't start putting out, especially annuals, until around now after Mother's Day. So we planted a lot of things. We planted some perennials and we did plant some annuals. Because we're always a little bit anxious, so we always get a jump on things. And I checked the 10-day and made sure everything was okay. We did have one night where it got really cold, and it got down to 37, 36. So I did cover things. I covered some of the things on the porch and some of the things in the backyard. Everything was fine. I think there was a little bit of damage on one of the dahlias, but everything else was fine. So, we were blessed in that way. So, right now you're seeing kind of the skeleton of the garden, and you're seeing an unfinished garden. And, I don't mind showing that because we're all doing the same thing. We're all planting out in our gardens. Some gardens are in wonderful shape, some gardens look amazing and perfect, and some gardens are in progress. And that's perfectly fine. So you're going to see that. The other caveat is that when it comes to plant names, I do not know plant names. Like, I know the general name, I know a rose, I know a geranium, I know other things. But as far as um, the growers' names, um, playing the blues salvia, or also easy roses, haven't got a clue. I don't know those names. I'm still learning those. And let's not even talk about the botanical names. So that is a goal for me, to be able to know the botanical names, to be able to know the growers' names, and things like that. Plus, this is a garden that I grew up in. So there are a lot of things that went in. I've only been planting for about 5 years, so there's a lot of things that went in before I even started planting, so I wouldn't know that anyway. And Mom put a lot of things in, but her main objective was it looks pretty, so I'm going to plant it. She wasn't trying to know the names and things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk around the garden today. We're going to talk about what things are, how things are growing, and maybe some plans for the future for this coming season. All right. So let me turn you around so you can see where we are. Okay, so right now we are on the porch, and let me back up so you can see our geranium planters. They're looking a little rough now. We've had some windy days. Yesterday was extremely windy. So these look beautiful. So some of the leaves were knocked off of these. So they're looking a little sketched now. Not sure why this is here. But these are geraniums, and we always put geraniums in this planter. This one's gonna probably need some support. We always put geraniums in this planter, and right now they're looking a little meager, but they will grow. They will get better. They will puff out, and by mid-June, July, they will be huge, and they'll fill these containers. Over here we've got, let's see, this is an azalea, and this is a dahlia. These are these are just the beginning of Mom's Mother's Day present. It's kind of a thing for us. I do her Mother's Day present. I get her flowers and I get her plants for the garden for her Mother's Day present. So this is just the beginning. She will be getting Mother's Day presents until mid-June or so, until the garden is filled up. So let's go take a look at the rest. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to see what's on the steps. So what do we have over here? So we have some evergreens over here, and these planters are absolutely adorable. I got these maybe 2, 3 years ago from QVC, and they are so adorable. They were 3 bunnies, and then there's 2 doggies. One I can't find. I think it's in the back of the shed, and one is in the backyard. I meant to use it last year, but I didn't get a chance to. So this year I'm going to use it, and I'm going to put something nice in it. These evergreens we got, they were on sale in Walmart. They are real, and they're really pretty, and they're really durable. They came through winter with very little damage, and I love them. They're really, really beautiful. So let's go see what else is down here. So this very big bush is a rose bush. So this is one of the things that predates me in the garden. So I'm not sure what kind of rose they are, but I know there are 2 different types. So if you look at the foliage, this one is one, and it's already starting to bud over here, and it's got a nice big one over here, and some over here. And these, when they start to flower, these come out in these nice bright, almost like fuchsia, like dark fuchsia flowers, almost like a red, but it's not quite a deep red, but it's a dark fuchsia, pretty fuchsia color. And then you've got these in the middle, and I'm not seeing buds on these yet. We have had a somewhat cold winter, a very cold winter, as I'm sure a lot of the country has. So we had snowstorms, 2 snowstorms, 2 heavy snowstorms, and we had, here's some damage. I think there was some damage from some of the snow, and we had extended cold temperatures. So like when there's a snowstorm, we've got to shovel this walkway. So a lot of the time some of the snow goes on here, and I think this area got more snow than it usually does. So there was some damage here. So we're gonna have to let that grow back and be a little bit more mindful about snow removal. But you know, when it snows that much, you only have so many options. You've got to put the snow somewhere. And then here's the original foliage on the other side, and this one's not leafing out. So yeah, like I was saying, we had a really cold winter, several snowstorms, extended periods of cold, and then a slow spring. So things are kind of taking their time to leaf out right now. So we just have to be patient. At least I'm happy that some of these are budding, so I know that they're still with us, and they have good, healthy foliage. So let's see what's out here. So outside the gate, I have 2 planters. I have one here, and I have one down there, and they're both the same. So these are Arborvitae, and I'm not sure exactly which type of Arborvitae, but the tag said Arborvitae Brandon, like they gave it a nickname. So as soon as I read that, I don't know why, I just fell in love with it. So I bought 2. So these are the first Arborvitae that I've ever bought myself. So I trimmed them, and they're looking pretty good. They still have some damage, some burn marks, so I might come in and trim a little bit more. But they're looking pretty good, and they're underplanted with petunias and with coleus. Now here's a spot over here where when I did the original video, I noticed it for the first time. This used to be a coleus. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if it was an overwatering issue or if it stayed wet. We haven't had a lot of hot days to dry out the soil. So I don't know if this stayed wet with rain and then with me watering it, maybe watering it too much. I'm not sure. But we're gonna have to have some more in the back, so we'll pull these out and replant. And there's some more in the back over here. There we go. And some neighbors are walking by. Okay, hello. And then we have another one on the other side, and it's pretty much the same thing. So these will nurture these flowers, the petunia and the coleus. Once it gets hotter, and the hot sun and the hot warm air, and you know the consistent heat hits them, they'll start to leaf out more. Now, I had tried to plant some more in here, but the roots on these things on these trees, these arborvitaes, make it a little bit more difficult to plant here. So I'm going to try again to see if I can put some more in the back and make it a little bit more vibrant. But it gets difficult the closer you get to the stem, to the tree, the more difficult it gets to plant anything there. So we'll see what happens with these. But I'm confident once it starts to get consistently warm outside, we'll see a lot more growth in these. This is my third year planting these, and they've done really well. So let's continue. Let's go over here. We're not going to look at all the containers because most of them are not done. But we have some azalea, two different types of azalea. This one is pink, and we have the white one over here. And these pulled through the winter pretty well, probably because we didn't put any snow on it for snow removal. We put everything around it. So these are looking good. They're not leafing out on every branch, but this one's leafing out a lot, and this one's leafing out a lot more. This one looks a lot fuller. I kind of like the way this one looks. So, and then this one is a euchera. The other name for euchera is coral bells, and these are weeds. They're weeds. They're all over the place. I'm gonna come by and I'll see it, and I just pulled the euchera leaf. So I'm gonna come by and do some weeding maybe over the weekend. And I don't think I have to do anything to these. I think we cut these back a little bit in the fall, so they're growing really nicely. And in the middle, this is a crepe myrtle tree, and it's already leafing out. So these are quite beautiful. And then we have a hosta over here. We have, this is weeds over there. We have some lilies here, but I'm not sure what kind. And down here, this is a star lily back there. I don't know if anybody's ever grown star lilies, but they're beautiful, and they smell delicious. They smell really, really nice, and they perfume the whole garden. And over here is a peony, an Ito peony. Now, this peony I will squeeze in. I have to squeeze behind the car. So this peony, this is her third year, and consistently for her third year, she has not flowered. She has not given one bud. She hasn't given anything. So I'm pretty sure she is planted incorrectly. She's planted too deep. So this is my second year saying that I was going to dig her up and plant her properly. So this year I'm actually gonna, I'm glad I'm putting it in the video, so now I have some accountability. This year I'm gonna put a timer on my phone. I'm gonna make some notes, and I'm gonna pull her out, and I might actually put her in the ground. I'll see what this is Mom's peony. She wanted it in the container, but I might be able to convince her to put it in the ground because I think it might do better. And I'm gonna pull it up and put the corm a little bit closer to the surface so I can get some light and some sunlight for photosynthesis, and see if it flowers next year, because it should have been flowering. I've got the exact same one in the back, and the one in the back flowered like the first year I had it. One only gave one flower, but that was good. So let's see what else we have. We're going to skip the rest of this because we can talk about these. We can look right here. We have hydrangea. So we have 1 and 2. These are both summer crush hydrangea, summer crush, endless summer crush hydrangea. And there are 2 more in the back. These were the first hydrangea I ever got. I got 4, and they were gorgeous. They are gorgeous. Hydrangea are beautiful. And they come out, they leaf out, and then they bloom these really pretty pink blooms. Oh, they're beautiful. So as soon as they start blooming, I'm going to take pictures so you all can see. And then this one is a hydrangea, but I'm not sure if this is a limelight. I'm not sure what kind of hydrangea this one is. We had 2 limelights, but they stayed in the container too long and they did not survive, so we don't have them anymore. So this area needs a little bit of help. This is, or was, or is to come. I'm not sure what's going on with this one, but this is the other azalea, the same as the one that we just looked at. This one is on the other side of the garden, and this one got a lot more snow dumped on it because it snowed so badly. Two weeks in a row, it snowed very badly, very heavy. I shouldn't say badly because snow is not bad. It snowed very heavy. We got dumped with over a foot of snow the first time, and I think over a foot of snow the second time, and we just ran out of places to put it. And I don't think this one recovered. Now, we're gonna give it a little more time because when I scratch one of the stems, not this stem, I scratched one of the other ones the other day and I saw green. There's still a little bit of green in here. Yeah, right there. There's still a little bit of green right there. So, as long as there's green, that means there's a chance. But I don't see any growth. I don't see any leafing out. I don't see anything, and I'm not sure what to do. So I think we're just going to give it time. I think I'm going to pull all this mulch out and give it some fresh soil and feed it. And I'll just give it some time and see what it does. I'm really not sure what to do after that. So just pray for our azalea that she wakes up and that she leaves out. Okay, so over here, we'll start over here at this angle. So first of all, this tree is a weeping cherry tree. It flowered. I wish you'd seen the last video. I wish the last video had worked because it still had some flowers. So you can't really tell, but here's one of the flowers. It comes down in these pretty pink. See if I can hold it still. These pretty pink flowers. There we go. And these pretty pink droopy flowers, and they're really, really beautiful. So this tree we've had forever, and the only concern I have is that the branches on the top, it doesn't leaf out anymore. No, there's nothing really coming from the top. So I'm not sure if it's a root issue. I'm pretty sure the tree is just getting older and it's just not as productive as it used to be because, plants get old sometimes too. Even trees, even perennials, they get old and after a while, they don't produce as well. So I think that's the issue with this one. I can't see anything else because it's planted pretty well. It's been in the same place for a while. It gets water, it gets fertilizer. Well, it doesn't really get fertilizer. And that could be an issue too. I don't know. Anyway, but when it is blooming, it is a beautiful pink poofy bloom that we all love very much. And yes, those are Christmas lights. And no, we never took those Christmas lights down. I can't even tell you how long those Christmas lights have been on this tree. And yeah, we're gonna have to take them down with scissors now because I can't figure out how to take them down any other way. So that'll be something. I'm not gonna video that because why even? Anyway, so these are Asiatic lilies coming up. So there's a story here. There used to be much more in the mid, especially in the middle. So usually at the end of the season, we will, once everything's done blooming and the season's over, we'll dig them up. We'll divide the tubers, not tubers, the bulbs. We'll divide the bulbs because they multiply. So we'll divide them and we'll spread them. And every year we'll cover it with landscape fabric and mulch. This is the only area in the garden that we use landscape fabric. The reason we use landscape fabric is because we've got some really nice juicy bulbs here that the squirrels love, absolutely love, and they go for them every time. So we usually cover these down with landscape fabric and mulch to protect them. So guess who forgot to cover them down this year? Yeah, that would be me. It was my responsibility, and I forgot to cover them down. So they went through the winter with no protection. So this area in the middle is where the squirrels came and had a smorgasbord. They just, helped themselves to dinner through the entire winter, which, I'm not even mad about. It was a rough winter. I'm glad they were able to find something. I'm glad I was able to feed them. I don't want bad things to happen to the squirrels, even though, they eat everything in my garden. But that's a lesson learned. So next year, at the end of this season, we're going to go back to our usual digging them up, dividing them, and protecting them with landscape fabric and mulch. So here we have hostas. We have some petunias. These are some of the annuals that we put down. This is Nemesia, and this Nemesia is trying. I've got Nemesia in the backyard too, and it looks much better. The difference is that this Nemesia, when this was bought, it stayed in the basement in its container um, for a good 2 weeks before it was put out. We just couldn't get it out to put it out um, earlier than that. And here's the thing, and I'm going to turn around to talk about this. And I was going to talk about this a little bit later because you're going to see some more plants that are struggling. The thing is with some of these plants is that they, around here, like I said before, around here, most people don't plant until after Mother's Day. That's usually the prime planting time for the Northeast because that's when it gets warm enough. Our last frost is usually April 5th, but anything can happen between April 5th and Mother's Day, and usually that anything is cold. So it's usually too cold to plant out tender annuals. I haven't started planting vegetables, tomatoes, peppers, and things like that because it just hasn't been warm enough to trust it. Like I said, I did plant some things and I was able to cover them, but I only planted a few things. So what happens is that around here, most of the nurseries and garden centers put their annuals out in mid-January. And mid-January is still pretty cold for us. Mid-January, we can still get temperatures in the 40s at nighttime. Um, so, like I said, where most people are not looking to plant, so most people don't even buy their plants. I'm a little bit different because I like to get a jump on things. So I buy things and try to start getting them in the ground by mid-April. You know, I check the 10-day forecast, I check everything, but I try to start getting things in the ground by mid-April because I don't want to. I just want to be outside. I just want to be planting. I don't want to be sedentary anymore. I'm sick of being inside, so I want to get things in the ground. But I try to be careful. The thing is, by now, when you go to the garden centers around here, the usual flats that they would have that you would you see the black flats that have the little starts. They don't have Most garden centers don't have those anymore. They have larger containers, which is a little bit annoying because I don't want larger containers. I want smaller flats with the variety that I had in mid-April. It's kind of my pet peeve, and thanks for listening to my rant about it. I think it should be done regionally. I think even the big box stores, the local nurseries are a little bit better. There's one I'm probably going to try to go to this weekend, and they probably still have flats out because they can do that. They're a local mom and pop store. They can make their own rules. But when it comes to the bigger stores, the big box stores and things like that, I mean, I get it. There has to be one standard for them. They have to be able to do what they need to do. But it just doesn't make any sense for us. It needs to be something that's regional, that's set by region, and that makes sense for the region that you're in. So if you're not able to plant until May, why are you selling me annuals in flats in the beginning of April? It That one was for free. Okay, so that's the story of the Nemesia. So let's go on. Let's move on. So these are ranunculus, and these are kind of the stars of the garden. There's one over here, and it's not looking that great anymore. Last week it was looking beautiful. Today it's getting a little bit old. But these are our stars. I love Nemesia. I love ranunculus. Sorry, absolutely love, and it's still got a bud here, so it's still budding. Ranunculus is a cold weather plant. It tolerates cold weather. It was the first thing. It'll probably be the first thing in your garden to bloom if you leave it in the ground. They don't recommend leaving it in the ground for us because we're a little bit cold. So you can pull up the corms somewhere around June, July when it starts to get hot because these will fall apart in the heat. And you can save them. You can store them and then put them out next year. You can start them inside next year and then put them out around mid-May, or you can put them in the ground and let them go. So they're beautiful. This is my first time growing them. I saw them for the first time last year at the Philadelphia Flower Show, and they were gorgeous, but I didn't really know what to do with them, so they stayed in my basement too long and petered out. And I didn't realize I could save the corms. So this year I'm going to store the corms, and I'll have ranunculus all year round. So we have more hostas. These are our salvia. So I got two of them. And the thing about salvia, I'm a little bit concerned about the salvia. Oh, over here we have mini bell. There's kind of, if you've heard of super bells, these are the non-proven winners ones. These are the same thing, just not proven winners. They're called mini bells. Um, so the salvia. So I have salvia here, and I have Russian sage in the backyard. We'll see it in a moment. So salvia is drought tolerant. It's very drought tolerant. It doesn't want a lot of water. It doesn't want a lot of fertilizer. It basically wants you to plant it in the ground and leave it alone. So salvia can take water. Right now, I just watered, so I would give it water now, and I won't even look at it until next week sometime. If it's not hot next week, then I won't even look at it till the week after. Like I might pay attention to it, but it's probably not going to need anything. Maybe once a week in the summertime when it gets hot, like June, July, when we get the hot, dry spells. The thing about us is that we, in our garden, we love too much. We love a lot. And when I say we love a lot, we give a lot of water. So I'm a little bit worried about the salvia's survival because we might love it a little bit too much. So I'm going to have to train myself, and Mom's going to have to train herself to just, water it deeply once a week and then leave it alone. That's all she wants. That's all they want. There's a rose back here. This rose and this rose, I think they're both floribundas. I think all the roses in this bed are floribundas except for one, and we'll look at it again, or two. And here's another rose. And this one was a gift from my cousin, and I wasn't sure what it was, but looking at it now, it kind of looks like bleeding heart. So I'm going to get on the plant apps and see. I'll take a picture of it a little bit later, but I'll get on the plant apps and see what it is. It looks like bleeding heart. Doesn't this look like bleeding heart? Like a white bleeding heart? It could be. And then there's some more ranunculus hiding down there. They're gorgeous. I love them. This space over here I think I'm going to save for the pansies. I have some pansies growing inside that I started from seed. But by the time they're ready and flowering, I think it's going to be too hot and sunny. So I'm going to save this space over here for the pansies so they can have some space that's shady. This space is almost all shade because of the pom-pom evergreens. So it might be a good space for them. We'll see. This is a huge weed that I'm going to attempt to take out. Let's see if I can get it from the root. Ah, success. Nothing feels as good as grabbing a weed and getting it out from the root. You're going to go right there till I'm done. Okay, here is another rose. Not sure what type of rose this is, but it is gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. Is this? This could be. Oh no, okay. This one is my at last rose. It's a little bit too close to the hosta, so we might have to move it back. So that's the at last rose. The at last rose used to be bigger, but the landscapers hacked it back a little bit too much. So I think next year we will be in charge of pruning the roses from now on. But this one blooms in the nice peach flowers, nice big peach flowers. It's only bloomed a couple times because it was damaged when I received it, so this one wasn't as abundant as the one I have in the backyard, but we'll see what it does. And then back here we have one last remaining gladiolus. So I had a line of gladiolus the whole way down, but they get old, they don't produce as well. So this is the last one, so we'll see what it does. I have to admit, I was never really I was underwhelmed when it came to gladiolus because they bloom and they're very pretty. But for us, the blooms last for about a week and then they're done. And I needed a little bit more than that. So once this blooms and once this peters out, I'm just going to let it go because, I'm done. And then we have and then we have I think this is Princess Pink Dahlia. I think this is Princess Pink Dahlia. But Mom fell in love with this one, and I fell in love with it too because I love dahlias. If I had my way, this whole garden would be dahlias. But it's beautiful. So we have it here. We have another pom-pom. And by the way, this whole garden bed, the design of the garden bed was all done by my mom. She literally, I remember the day that she sat down at the table and mapped all of this out. So putting the tree here, using the wood to make a raised bed in here, the boulders, I think her and a neighbor went and found the boulders. Her and a neighbor went to the store and got the pom-poms. They were much smaller back then. They've grown. There's another rock back there. She found a smooth rock. The whole design was her. So it was an excellent design, and she did a great job. So this is a knockout rose. Again, that was buried under snow for a long time. So I'm not sure how it's going to do. I was giving it a chance because there's still some green even on those stems that look dead. But if they don't improve, I'm going to have to hack some of those stems off so the rose can focus on the live parts over here. And then here's a peony. I'm saying it wrong. Here's a peony. And this is a nice pink peony. I can't remember the name. Luscious Pink or something like that. But this is another one. I just bought this one and it had the buds on it, so that's why I bought it. I wasn't supposed to buy it. I wasn't supposed to buy anything, but this is what happens when I go to the garden center. And then there's some more geraniums. So let's walk down here. So over here we have a rose bush on the trellis. So these roses are similar to the ones that we saw in the front, but they bloom in a different color. These bloom in yellow. They have some pink and white, and they have yellow, pink, and white, and I think they have a little bit of peach. So these are really good, really nice. And there's some hostas on the bottom. Mom really likes hostas. And then these are my blueberries. These are the first blueberries. This is my third time planting blueberries, and this is the first blueberry success that I've had. So I'm immensely excited about this. And they're growing really nicely. And I see something that looks like it could be fruit. Now, I'm not expecting to get big, luscious blueberries now. These plants are babies. So I'm probably not going to get anything that I can eat this year. Maybe next year. Maybe not. But I'm going to let this take its time and get healthy and strong. And we'll see. With blueberries need a certain type of acid level in the soil, and they also need to not be wet all the time. So I use the I think it's the bark that you use for orchid bark. I planted it with that, and I planted it with some soil acidifier from Espoma, and not a lot. I didn't want to overwhelm it. And then some soil. So hopefully the orchid bark will help keep the roots from soaking and sitting in water, especially when we get rain, because I can control how much water I give it, but I can't control how much rain falls. So hopefully that'll help, and then the soil acidifier should help with the pH level. And then these are my winter sowing projects, which I'm really happy with. I have a lot of success here. I'm not sure. I think that was nasturtium. That might have been nasturtium. I don't know what this was, but nothing grew here. This one I think is black-eyed Susan. That's growing here. Or is this one black-eyed Susan? No, this one is black-eyed Susan. So these are cosmos. That's growing here. I think I have 3 cosmos. Nothing grew in this one. Nothing grew in this one. There was something growing in this one, but maybe it dried out. Some more cosmos, I think. I know these are Shasta daisies. I always have success with Shasta daisies, but I gotta get these out of the container soon. Coreopsis, maybe? Not sure. Most of this I'm growing for the first time, so oh no, maybe these were the African daisies. I think these were African daisies. And I think these were the other cosmos. And then nothing grew in here. That's a weed over there. So this is the most success I've had with winter sowing. And I'm going to actually do a more in-depth video about this, opening them all up and seeing what they are and what they're going to look like, and then figuring out where they're going to go. So, there's a plane going by. Let's wait for the plane to go by. All right. We live right under the flight plan for the airport, so planes go by pretty often. All right, so these are coral bells. So a little bit about this row. This row used to be kind of a mixed row with flowers and vegetables, but what we're going to do this year is I'm going to use this whole row all the way down for vegetables. Don't look at those plants in the trays. Just remember my rant about the garden centers. Anyway, so we're going to use this whole row going down for vegetables. We'll have some fruit, the blueberry. This is going to be moved. We're going to clean up over here, and these are going to be moved. One of them is going to go in the front in one of Mom's containers, and the other one is going to go to the side, which I'm not going to show you because it's a mess. But on the side garden close to the wall of the house, I'm going to create a container garden. So one of these is going to go in a container on the side, and the other one will go on the front. And this whole row will be tomatoes, peppers. I'm going to put potatoes over here. Onion, I'm going to try one more time with onions. So this whole row will be used for production. So we can go down. I've already got some spinach in there. The spinach came up really well. We'll come back to those too. The spinach came up really well, but I had carrots planted here and nothing happened. Nothing came up. And it's the first time nothing ever came up from the carrots. So I'm not sure what that's all about. We got some more geraniums we didn't get to plant. This one is a spotted dead needle purple dragon. This is a perennial. And I liked it in the store, but once I got it home, it started to look kind of like a space alien. A little. So I know that's a little bit unreasonable. It is pretty. I just have to figure out where to put it. It'll probably go somewhere in the backyard. So we'll figure that out. And then we've got these containers that kind of line the fence. And they have petunias. These are petunias in the containers. So it's getting a little windy, so let's hit the backyard. This is mint. Everybody repeat after me. We only grow mint in containers. One more time. We only grow mint in containers. Mint is beautiful and I love the way it smells, but mint will take over. So if you put mint in your landscape, in your garden, near your lawn, anywhere in the ground, it will take over. So one more time. We only grow mint in, that's right, containers. All right. So here is the star of the show, at least for now until the other garden bed gives it a competition. So this is the newest addition to the garden. This is the backyard garden bed. The wind is picking up, so I'm sorry if the sound quality is not that great, but we'll go quickly. So this is a mixed bed, and it's not done. We have more things to put in here. Remember, we just started, but it's a mixed bed. It's mixed with annuals and perennials. So let's go through. So we have some strawberries in here. When I did the strawberries, that was a video I was supposed to do for you guys. When I did the strawberries, I put some in here. So I've got one here, and I've got one here. These are ever-bearing strawberries, so they will give fruit throughout the season, as opposed to June-bearing strawberries that only give fruit in the early spring, like by June, and then they're done. I wanted to get ever-bearing because I wanted to get something that gave the most production, because I don't want to get all my fruit at the same time. I'd like to get fruit, throughout the year. I had them planted. I just noticed that these already have strawberries starting. I've had them planted here. This one I've had planted here for a while, but I've had them growing for a while, but I wasn't getting a lot of fruit. So I think I had planted them with the crown buried. So a couple weeks ago I came in and that's from last year. A couple weeks ago I came in and I lifted them up. I cut off all the dead foliage and I replanted them. So they were looking a little bit sickish before, but now they look a little bit better. This is a lily. I'm not sure what kind of lily it was. They didn't have the tag on it in the store, so I'm not sure, but it blooms in these big, bright, red red, yellow, and orange, like burnt orange flowers, and it's really pretty. This beauty is a clematis, and it's already getting some flowers. Now I should have cut this back in the spring, but I did not. So I'm gonna wait. Well, early in the spring. I should have cut it back in March, but I didn't. Actually, I could have cut it back last year, last fall, but again, I didn't. So I'm gonna wait until it flowers because it's got lots of nice buds over here. I'm gonna give it a chance to flower, and then I'm gonna cut it back because it's looking kind of, yeah, it's looking kind of rough right now. I mean, it's looking vibrant, but you know, it needs a little help, and it's gonna get a little heavy. So I'll cut it back later in the season, and then I'll let it flush back. So this is what I was talking about before. Here is the other Nemesia, and you see how healthy this one looks. This one was planted. Um, okay, so it was bought. Mom bought the Nemesia on a Tuesday. It was planted by Saturday. That same Saturday, and look how healthy it looks because it's in the ground, it's outside, it was exposed to the elements, but it's one of the things that I covered in the backyard, and it's doing really well. So, I mean, that's the difference. Again, I'm not going to go back to my rant, but just being mindful of when you sell different things, so people can have the option of buying them without having to risk losing them and losing the money that they spent for them. These are miniature roses. I have one here, and I have the other one over here. So this is my third time trying to grow miniature roses outside, but I think I was growing them in the front where they were a little bit too exposed to the wind, the elements, the snow being piled on them, and all of that. So I'm trying them in the backyard. When it snows, we don't do anything with this flower bed. We largely leave it alone. And a bird just pooped on me, right there. You saw it first. Yeah. So when nature, it's nature. So what, as I was saying, when it what was I saying? Oh, when it snows, we generally don't pile up the snow in this area. In the backyard, we leave it alone because it's the backyard. Nobody's walking in the backyard in the winter, so we don't have to worry about the snow. So this area is more protected when it snows. So because of that, I'm hoping that having the miniature roses in here is will protect them, and they'll be able to grow and flourish out here. If not, then I'm just gonna have to give up growing miniature roses. And then I hope it didn't get in my hair. I can't believe a bird pooped on me. Well, I'm glad you guys weren't watching. It didn't get in my hair. Anyhow, so we have some we have some geraniums, and we have some dahlias. I should have deadheaded this before. I didn't see it. But oh well. It's getting ready to bloom. I think this one is a yellow. Is this a yellow bloom? And I think there's a red bloomer in the back. We have some geraniums, more strawberries. This is my snapdragon that should not have survived because snapdragons are considered a tender perennial. So in warmer climates, in zone 8 and above, it's considered, it'll come back because, you know, winters aren't as harsh. For us, it's considered, for us, anything in zone 7 and down, it's really considered an annual because it's just not going to come back. But after the harsh winter that we have, this plant has come back. It's not a weed. It's actually a plant. It's actually coming back from here. And there's one in the back too. There's that one. So I'm really excited about that. I'm going to see. It's getting ready to flower. I didn't even notice that. But it's got a nice little bud. So I'm going to see what happens with this one. I'm really excited. And here's a coleus. This is a fairway mixed coleus. You see, I have to keep the tags in here so I remember the names. I'm going to start doing that more often. This is the fairway mixed coleus, and I've got more to plant out in containers and in the other garden that we're going to talk about in a minute. That'll be the last thing we see for the tour. And then here's our nasturtium. I planted nasturtium seeds for the first time, and I've got 1 and 2. The third one, sorry, 1 and 2. There it goes. The third one hasn't come up, but that's okay because having two is more than enough. It'll be great. I've never grown nasturtium before, so that should be awesome. And then this is a rose. And see if I can see, you see the bud right here? It's budding. Again, I'm not sure what kind of rose. So, and here are some more of the ranunculus I planted back here, and they're doing amazing. Amazing. And see if I have the tag. Yep. This is ranunculus sprinkles light pink. So this is a pink one. I don't think I have the yellow one. I think I only saved the pink one. But they're doing really well. And then we have dahlias. And then here's the Russian sage. So again, we're going to be careful with the Russian sage, not to water it too much. I just watered it, so I'm going to leave it alone for a while, and we'll see how it does. We have some more of the mini bells. Here it goes, I can't say it, this Calabratroa. And some more Nemesia, some hydrangea. And this is the other Atlas rose, and this one is taller, and this one flowers a little bit more. It's got a bud right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right here. So we'll see. And these buds come out, the flowers come out a nice peach, a nice light peach, almost yellow color. So they're really nice. And then we have our grapevine. So I had to watch four different videos, and I had to watch them several times to know how to prune and how to set up the grapevine. This is the only reason I knew how to do this. So now that they're leafing out, they look really good on this trellis. And what my plan is, over here I have Speedwell. I had Speedwell. It's supposed to be a perennial, but it doesn't look like it's coming back. And I'm not that sad about it, because if it doesn't come back, I'm pulling it out and I'm getting another grapevine, and I'll get another trellis like this one, and I'll let them vine together. And I think it'll be a good thing to have the two. We used to have two a long time ago, but we were in Hurricane Sandy and they got washed away, and they got flooded, and they never really came back. So we're starting over. And then more strawberry. And then this is a, oh gosh, coneflower, black-eyed Susan. This is a black-eyed Susan from my cousin's garden. She brought me one. There's one here, and there's one here. So she brought me a few, and I put them out. And these two, I think, are the only ones that survived of the ones that I put out. And it's getting dark, so let's wrap up. We've got more hostas. We've got some roses. We've got a tree that looks like a mushroom, an evergreen that looks like a mushroom. It's shaped like that deliberately. Mom likes it. More roses. I'm going to walk on the grass. I'm probably going to get in trouble. We've got a peony. I'm not sure what kind this one is, but the flowers are white. And you see the ants are really enjoying this one. But that's okay. You can let the ants enjoy them because they don't do anything to it. The buds are really sweet, so the ants are drawn to the sweetness, but they don't hurt it. They don't damage it. You don't have to do anything. We've got Euchera coral bells. We've got a climbing rose that needs help. This is a floribunda. This is a climbing rose. This is my the first rose that I ever planted. Things got busy this year, so I didn't get a chance to trim it, to prune it. So I'm going to wait till it flowers, and then the flowers die, and it's taking a break, and then I will cut it back and give it a rest, because it needs help. We all need help sometimes. And then this is my other Ito peony no, this is not an Ito peony. This is a Susan Bradford peony, I think it is. Susan something peony. But it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 juicy buds that I can see. I could not be more excited because these buds are these bright, beautiful pink flowers. Oh, and they're beautiful. They give off a beautiful show. It's a short-lived show, but it's a beautiful show, and I can't wait. This is why I buy peonies. for this reason. Here's a butterfly bush that I cut back in a video, and well, I started to cut back in a video and my battery died, so I didn't get that video. But I'll put pictures. I think I took pictures of the before and after, so I'll put those up. I have no idea what that is. Plant apps have no idea what that is, so it's probably coming out. Here's the other snapdragon, and they're doing really well. I haven't done anything to this bed, so it's a mess. I'm gonna work on this bed over the weekend. Not daylilies, daffodils. The daffodils are pretty much done. I'm gonna let them stay up a little bit more so they can photosynthesize a little bit more and get energy to the bulb, and then I'll cut them back. This is dianthus, carnations. I don't know. I'm not sure what she's doing. I don't know if this was good positioning for her. Maybe she didn't get enough sun because she's right under a tree. You can see the tree here. So maybe she didn't get enough sun. I had 3 in here and she's the only one that survived. So that could be the issue. If that is in fact the issue, then at the end of the season, I think I'll find a place to move her to that she'll get more of what she needs. And then here we have the lavender. So I'm a little concerned about the lavender because the lavender honestly should be doing more of this, growing more. There's weeds in here. I'll come and do some weeding maybe tomorrow afternoon. The lavender should be doing a little bit more, but it's not. And some more weeds. It's amazing. So I think what happened with the lavender, I didn't really know how to prune it properly. So you see how it's got this woody base here? It's really not supposed to. It's recommended that you don't let the lavender get a woody base, because when you do, then it becomes more difficult for the plant to push new growth through that woody base. When you have a lavender that has a flexible base, it becomes more easy for it to grow. I fear that's what may have happened, and that's why I'm not seeing as much as vibrant growth, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to see what happens. Hopefully we get, a good vibrant season. If not, I might have to just let her do her thing for the next couple of years, and then let them do their thing for the next couple of years. There's 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then just let them peter out and plant fresh ones. This was a surprise. It was the one experiment allium that I planted, and it actually grew. It bloomed, and I never even saw it. But we'll plant them. We'll do alliums next year, and we'll plant them someplace else in the garden where they're going to get more sun. I think that's what she needs. This is the Ito peony. This is the first peony. So really quickly, the story behind this peony is that this was the first peony I ever planted the first year I started gardening, but nothing ever came up. Not sure why nothing ever came up, or if it came up and I thought it was a weed and then I plucked it. I'm not sure. But as far as I can remember, nothing ever came up. In fact, I remember I planted 3 in this space. And I actually planted them too close together now that I think of it. But I planted 3 in this space. Nothing ever came up. So I thought the squirrels got them, and I just forgot about it. The next year, it started to come up. But I thought they were weeds. So I pulled them up. I tried to pull it up, but I didn't get all of it. The next year, it started to come up. And when I took pictures and put them in the plant apps and on the Facebook gardening groups, everybody told me those are peonies. It's an Ito peony. And it is. Now, this is one of the peonies that I think are planted too deep, because these are as big as the buds ever get, and they don't open. So I don't think the bulb is getting enough sunlight. So again, I'm giving myself accountability by saying it out loud here. At the end of the season, I'm going to cut this back. I'm going to pull up the root, the corm. Down here, I'm going to pull up the corm, and I'm going to plant it a little bit higher so I can get some more sun. And I'm going to see what happens next year. So, and then over here we have the other two Summer Crush, Endless Summer hydrangea. Not sure what's up with the focus, but they're over here. I just noticed this over here. Not sure what it is, but I'll have to. Could that be a clematis? I know I planted a clematis here somewhere. but it kind of looks like the other one we saw. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check and see if this is a clematis or if this is just a plain weed. I know I planted one here somewhere, but I thought I planted it in the front. But come to think of it, I planted a couple, and this is the only thing I see growing. But it could just be a weed. And then these are some plants that are waiting on deck. We've got sun patience, we've got petunias, we've got more sun patience, we've got more of the fairway mixed coleus. This nemesia is looking kind of rough over here, and then some more impatience. And last but not least, we've got the rest of, well, we've got weeds. We've got the rest of the strawberries. So these strawberries I was able to pull up, pull out the dead leaves and replant them a little bit higher. I never got to these. And look, they're flowering already. And they're already giving off, like they're going to give off fruit. So I think I'm going to leave them alone. I think I'm just going to come in, pull off the dead stuff. I'm not going to dig them up. I think I fed them already. This veining on the leaves, I think might be chlorosis. So I ordered some chelated iron. So I'm going to do a video on mixing it and then applying it, because I noticed the same thing in some of the strawberries in this bed too. So, and I'm noticing over here also. I just saw this. So we'll see if we can do that maybe over the weekend. So that's it for the garden tour. We've seen most all of the garden. It's getting dark and it's time to go in, time to have some dinner, and time to let my family know that I'm alive, because I've been out here for a long time. So this is what we're doing in the garden. So now you know what I'm working with, what type of garden I'm working with. It's a small space. So this is urban gardening. I don't have acres of land spread out anywhere. I've got neighbors, and I've got a small amount of space. So I have to work with what I have. And I'm enjoying working with what I have. And it's a challenge, but it's interesting because it's problem solving, and that's always a good thing. So anyway, that's it for this video. I'm going to go in and have some dinner and relax, and I'll see everybody in the next video. Bye, everybody.